Hey everybody, it's Teresa. Welcome to my channel. I'm going to make a necklace today. The first thing I'm going to do is bezel this little teardrop pendant here. I got this pendant from Lima Beads during one of their sales. It was either their Black Friday sale or I think they did a week of cyber sales. And that's when I got one of those sales is when I got this. I get a lot of my findings from Lima Beads. I really like their findings, and during that sale you could pick out a free gift, and this was one of the free gifts you could pick out, and I got it because I had a lady request that I bezel a teardrop on video. I don't really bezel it any differently than I do anything else, but that's why I got this with that in mind to do that. It's a 22 by 30 millimeter picture jasper pendant. I had said when I opened the current bargain bead box that I might bezel this teardrop that came in it because she had asked me to, but it's bigger and thicker and it would take longer to bezel it, and so I thought I would just do this one instead. It won't take nearly as long as this one would. I might still bezel this one, I don't know, but this is not a pendant. It's got a hole, so it's not a pendant that you would have to bezel, but I'm going to bezel this because she had asked me to. For the bezel, I'm going to be using some Miyuki Delica 11Os in light bronze and some Miyuki 11O Delicas in galvanized champagne and some Miyuki 15Os in metallic dark bronze and some Miyuki 15Os in Durcoat galvanized champagne. And I'll be using my 6-pound fire line to do the bezel with and smoke. I have always only bought the 6-pound fire line in the 125-yard spool because I don't use it nearly as much as I do the 8-pound, which I buy in the 300-yard spool. But I think I'm going to have to start buying this in this 300-yard spool because I've not had it very long and I'm already almost running out here. So I'm probably going to have to start going with the 300-yard spool in it too. I've got a size 12 beading needle. I've got, for my necklace, I've dived back into the Cozy Chrysanthemum bargain bead box. I think that was the November box. And I'm going to be using the 6mm matte mookaite beads that came in that box. I picked out the ones that were sort of the same color as these 8mm fossil coral beads that came in that box. And I'm going to be using these. These are kind of a light bronze 11O Miyuki seed bead. I'm going to use that to space out the beads. I've got some findings in here. I've got a lobster clasp, some 4mm jump rings, an 8mm jump ring, a couple of pieces of chain, a little piece of chain I'm going to use as an extender, a head pin, and one of the 6mm mookaite beads to dangle off the extender, two 2x2 crimp tubes, and 2 wire guardians. And I'll be using my soft flex beading wire in fine. This is 21 strand and it's bronze. Of course, you can use whatever bead string wire you have. I don't have much of this left, but I think I've got enough to do this with. I've got my bead stopper here. For tools, of course, for the bezel, I'll be using my scissors to cut my fire line and my chain nose pliers to flatten the thread to get it through the needle. And then for the necklace, I'll be using pretty much all my jewelry tools, my chain nose pliers, my tweezer pliers, my round nose pliers, both pairs of my bent chain nose pliers, both pairs of my crimping pliers, and both pairs of my cutters. A lot of those I'll only be using when I make the little dangle to go off the end of the extender chain. And I have my little New Orleans shot glass to put my wire in when I cut it off. I think that's everything. I have a coupon code to the bargain bead box. It's Teresa2. And I'll put it on the screen here and in the description box below, along with a link to the page to sign up for the subscription if you're interested. The coupon code will save you $2 off your first box if you sign up. I'll put links to everything I can find links for in the description box below too. So hold on, let me get this some of my beads poured out to do this bezel with, and I'll be back. Okay, I've got some of my beads out here to do my bezel with. I've got my light bronze delicas and my galvanized champagne. I thought if I used 2 colors it might be easier to see, but I don't know because these blend pretty well together, so I don't know if you'll be able to see what I'm doing or not, but I'll try. There are some guides out there, bezel guides I think is what they're called, for the stones that are the most commonly shaped and sized stones. Like if you had an 18 by 25 millimeter Teardrop, you could find, it would tell you exactly how many delicas to start out with. But this being a 22 by 30, I'm going to have to figure it out myself. And I've got 64 delicas on here. And when I put it around my stone and pull it up, you want there to be a little bit of room between the stone. Let me zoom in here. You want there to be a little bit of room between the stone and the beads. And there is, but there's not much, so I don't know. But I tried 66, and it looked like there was too much room between the beads and the stone. So I'm going to try 64. It might not work. I might have to take it out and go with 66. I have to do that a lot. But I'm going to try 64. And I've got a stop bead on here, and I'm leaving about a 6-inch tail, just enough to put a needle on and sew it in when I need to get rid of it. Now, and I've gone through several of the beads to kind of try to tighten it up so it'll be good and tight when I start this with my galvanized champagne here. So I'm going to pick up a galvanized champagne. The only thing, whatever number you start out with, it needs to be an even number because I'm doing a peyote bezel here. So I'm going to skip the next bronze delica and go into the one after that. And I'm going to pull my thread through, and it's loose here at first, and I always have to tighten my stop bead down to get that first bead to sit next to the one I skipped. So there's my champagne delica that I just put on, and it's sitting next to the one I skipped. Now I'm going to pick up another champagne delica. I'm going to skip the next bronze delica, and I know it's hard to see because these beads are tiny. And I'm going to go into the delica after that one. Pull my thread through. And that sits that delica next to the one I skipped. I'm going to pick up another champagne delica. Skip the next delica, go into the one after that. And that sets that one next to the one I skipped. Pick up another delica. Skip the next delica, go into the one after that. And that puts that delica next to the one I skipped. Now I'm going to do that all the way around, and when I get back over here to my step up, I'll be back and show you how I'm going to do the step up. So I'll be back. Okay, I'm all the way back around here now, and I need to put in one more of my galvanized champagne delicas. So I'm coming out of this bronze 11-0. I'm going to go into the next one. I'm going to skip the next one and go into the one after that. And then I'm going to go up into that first galvanized champagne delica, which is the one I started this round with, and that's my step up. Okay, now I've got my delicas out of the way here. I've got my 11 or my 15, my metallic dark bronze 15-0s. I think I've decided to just use these and not use those galvanized champagne 15-0s because I think they'd be too hard to see. This is probably going to be hard enough to see. But I'm going to pick up a 15-0, and I'm going to go from my galvanized champagne that's sticking out into the next galvanized champagne that's sticking out and pull it through. And just pick up another 15-0, go into the next galvanized champagne that's sticking out. Pick up a 15-0, go into the next galvanized champagne that's sticking out. Pick up another 15-0, go into the next sticking out champagne bead. And I'm just going to do that all the way around. When I get back around, I'll be back and we'll do the step up. So I'm back. Okay, I'm not all the way around yet. I'm not very much farther along at all, but I'm back because I forgot to tell you that as I do this, I'm going to flatten this around my hand here. As I put my 15-0s in, I'm going to flatten it around my hand here. So I'm going to pick up another 15-0, go into the next galvanized champagne bead. And as I go around, I'm just going to keep flattening it down around my hand there, so I get my sides established here. I'll pick up another 15-0, just one, trying to pick up two there. Going to the next galvanized champagne bead. So now I'm just going to do that all the way around until I get to all the way around, and I'll show you when I get back. I'll do my step up, so I'll be back. Okay, I'm all the way back around with my 15-0s now. I just need one more. So I'm coming out of this galvanized champagne delica. I'm going to go into the next sticking out one. And now I'm going to go up into that 15-0 there. Which is the first one I put on in this round. And that's going to be my step up. Now I'm going to try it around my stone before I do any more. I think that's going to work. So now I'm going to, I've decided I am going to use my champagne delicas here. So now my 15-0s. So now I'm going to go around it. I'm going to put a champagne 15-0 in between all of the bronze 15-0s. I'm just going to pick up a champagne 15-0 and go into that next bronze one. Pick up another champagne, go into the next bronze, sticking out bronze 15-0. And I'm still going to try to flatten it around my finger here as I go around. Pick up a champagne 15-0. Go into the next bronze 15-0. Pick up a champagne 15-0. Go into the next bronze 15-0. And I'm going to do that all the way around until I get back around. And when I get back around, I'll be back. Okay, I'm back around here where I only need one more 15-0 now. So I'm going to pick up a 15-0. I'm going to go into that next bronze 15-0, and I'm going to go up into that 15-0 on the diagonal. And that's my step up. Now I'm going to work my way to the front of the bezel here so that I can put some 15-0s in the front. So I'm going to go into this delica, and the next one, and the next one on the diagonal. So I can get around here to the front. Now I think I'll use my champagne 15-0s here. I'm going to put a champagne 15-0 between all these bronze delicas. And after I get several in here, I'm going to start trying to hold my stone in here. I think I'm going to just get part of the way around here. Putting these 15-0s in. And when I get ready to start holding my my stone in there, I'll be back. Okay, I've got about halfway around my bezel here, the front part of my bezel, and I'm going to start trying to lay my stone in here and hold it in here as I do this. So I'm just going to hold the stone in there, pick up a 15-0, go into the next delica, pick up a 15-0, go into the next delica, and I'm just going to do that. I'm going to hold my stone in there and put my delicas in until I get all the way around. And when I get all the way around, I'll be back. Okay, I'm all the way back around here now. I'm going to pick up another 15-0, just like one. And I'm going to go into this delica and up into that 15-0 on the diagonal, which is the one I started in. That popped over my stone, so I'm going to put it back in there. I might have to go back to the back of the stone and tighten it up back there to get it to stay in better. Now I'm going to go back to my metallic bronze 15-0s, and I'm going to put a 15-0 between all the galvanized silver 15-0s. And as I do that, I'm going to pull in toward the center of the stone to get it to hug my stone, I guess you'd call it. Just going to put a dark bronze 15-0 between all of the champagne 15-0s. Like that. And I don't know if this is going to stay in here or not. I'm thinking I might have to go back to the back and tighten it up. I'm not sure. I don't know. It might be all right. I'll see, and I'll tell you what I do when I come back. Okay, I'm back around here, and I know I only need one more 15-0 here. So I'm pick up a 15-0. I'm coming out of this galvanized silver 15-0. I'm going to go into the next galvanized silver 15-0 and up into the bronze 15-0, which is the first one I put on at this round. So this is what I've got so far, and this is pretty loose. So I'm going to work my way back around to the back here and see if I can tighten it up. So I'm going to go into just so on the diagonal until I can get back to the back. And tighten up my bezel. And hopefully not have to do this all over again with what I said I started with 64. I might have to go back and start all over again and do 62. I'm just gonna leave my stone out for the moment. And I'm going to go into these 2 11-0s. Now, I don't think I'll put another row of 15-0s in. I think I'll just go around all these 15-0s that are already here. So I'm going to go up those 2 15-0s. I'm going to pull in as I do this to tighten it up so that it'll hold my stone in better. Now I'm going to go up these 2 15-0s. And tighten it and pull in. I'll go down here and go up these 2 15-0s. Tighten it, pull it in. I'm going to do that all the way around. When I get back, or when I get done, I'll be back. Okay, I've got the back of my stone tightened up now, or the bezel, back of my bezel tightened up now. My stone's staying in there a lot better. And I went ahead and sewed around to the front, back around to the front, so I went ahead and did that so y'all wouldn't have to wait while I did that. I just did it the same way I sewed to the back. And now I'm going to hold my stone in here, and I'm going to put another round of 15-0s between the 15-0s that are here. I'm going to put some champagne 15-0s between my bronze ones. So I'll pick up a 15-0. I'm coming out of that bronze 15-0 there. I'm going to go into the next one. I'm going to pull inward as I do this. And I'll pick up another champagne 15-0 and go into the next bronze 15-0 that's sticking out there. And pull in. Pick up another champagne. Go into the next bronze. I'm just going to do that all the way around until I get back around. And then when I get back around, I'll be back. Okay, I'm back around here now. I just need one more of my galvanized champagne 15-0s. And I'm coming off this bronze 15-0. I'm going to go into that next bronze 15-0 there and the galvanized champagne one on the diagonal. Now my stone's in there pretty good now. It's not going to come out. But I'm going to go around this just like I did on the back and tighten it up anyway, just to get it a little tighter. So I'm just going to go through those two 15-0s. And those two 15-0s. And I'm just going to go all the way around until I get it tightened up good. And when I come back, I'll sew up here toward the top because I'm going to have to make a bail to go on my necklace. So when I get all that done, I'll be back. Okay, I've got my bezel all done now. My stone is, my bezel's tightened up. My stone's not going to go anywhere in there. And now I'm going to try to make a little bail here. And I've worked my way up here to the top. And I'm coming out what is the delica that looks like it's at the tip of my little teardrop here. If you get here and you don't have delica right at the tip, you can still move this. It'll still move. So you can maneuver it around there until you get your delica right there at the tip. Now I'm just going to do a really simple herringbone bail here. So I'm coming out of that delica. I picked up two of my bronze 15-0s. I'm going to go on the other side of that delica. And now I'm going to go back up one of those 15-0s. And pick up two more of my 15-0s. Go from the top of this 15-0 into this 15-0. It's going to be really loose here at first, but now I'm going to go up these two 15-0s. Tighten my beads down there against my bezel. I'll pick up two more 15-0s. Go from this 15-0 into this 15-0. Try to hold my hand on it to keep it from getting so loose. Now I'm going to straighten my beads up there with the holes facing up. And I'm going to go over here and go up these two 15-0s. Pick up two more 15-0s. Go from this 15-0 down into this 15-0. Straighten my beads up. Go over here and go up these two 15-0s. I'm going to do that until I get a long enough piece that I can connect it to another delica back here. So when I get it long enough, I'll be back. Okay, I've got this as long as I need it to be. I don't need it to be very long, just long enough to go over the bead string wire. And I think I did 7 rows of herringbone here. And now I'm just gonna, my thread's coming out this bronze 15-0 here. I'm going to go into the delica back here. And now I'm going to go up this side of my bail. And I'm going to sew all the way through this side of my bail. I'm going to go back into this delica that I started in. And then I'm going to go back up this side of my veil. Just going to go all the way through it. Going to go back through this delica here. Now I'm just going to sew through here and crisscross my thread a few times to get it sewed in good. And then when I come back, I'll have this all done and we'll make the necklace. So I'll be back. Okay, I finished bezeling my stone here. And I went ahead and strung this necklace up so y'all wouldn't have to wait for me to do that. I've got 11 between all the beads. I've got 3 of my 8mm fossil coral beads, and 1 of the 6mm mookaite, and then 3 of the 8mm, 1 of the 6mm, 3 of the 8mm, 1 of the 6mm, 3 of the 8mm. And I wanted some space between my pendant and the beads, so I strung on 13 of my little 11 here. I made that bail so small that it's not going to move over those 11 I didn't really mean to do that. I meant to make it bigger so that it would move, but it's not going to. So I've got 13 of my 11 there with it in the center. And then I've got the same thing on the other side, 3 8mm, 1 6mm, 3 8mm, 1 6mm, 3 8mm, 1 6mm, and 3 8mm. And now I'm just going to crimp it. So I'm going to put my crimp tube on here. And my wire guardian. Zoom back in a little bit here. Now I'm going to go down the other channel of my wire guardian, back through my crimp tube. Make sure to keep my wires from getting crossed, and tuck in my little wire guardian. I'm going to take my crimping pliers here, hold my wires apart. Now I'm going to go on that part that has the tooth, and I'm going to lay the tooth on top of my crimp tube. Squeeze. And that puts each wire in its own little channel there. Now I'm going to go into the part, there's 3 half circles on each side. I'm going to go into this middle one because that's the one for the 2x2 crimp tubes. I'm going to lay my crimp tube in there, squeeze. Be sure to get it squeezed good and tight. Now I'm going to tug. That's good. Now I'm going to take my cutters that I use for my bead stringing wire, and I'm going to cut off my extra wire. Now I'm going to push all this down and cut my wire off the spool here. Now I'm going to take my other crimp tube and my other wire guardian, down the other channel of my wire guardian, back into my crimp tube, and I like to go through a bead on this side to get my hands out of the way and to center that wire guardian over this bead, this last bead here. Now I'm going to hold on to my wire guardian and make sure my wires are not crossed. pull my thread through, or my wire through. I'm going to tuck my little wire guardian in. My thread through, make sure there's no thread sticking out the top of that wire guardian there like that. You don't want that. Now, I don't want my piece to be too, I don't have any slack, but I don't want it to be too stiff either. If it's too stiff, it won't drape well. So now I'm going to take the part with the tooth again. Lay it on top of my crimp tube. Squeeze. Now I'm going to go into the part with the half circles again. Lay my crimp in there and squeeze. I'm going to tug. That's good. So now I'm going to cut off my extra wire. So this is what I've got now. Now I'm going to put my findings on here. I've got a couple of pieces of chain here. These are about a little over 4.5 inches, I think. I measured this and it was a little over 11 inches. Yeah, this is about, these pieces of chain are about 4.5 inches each. So I'm going to take one of my 4mm jump rings, and open it up, put my chain on, and one side of my necklace, close it back up really well. And we'll take another 4mm jump ring. Well, that jump ring landed in the floor. I'm going to have to get another one out here. Somebody told me that's why they're called jump rings, because they jump out of your hands, and that one for sure did. It wound up in the floor. Close that one back up really well. Hold on, let me get another jump ring out and I'll be back. Okay, I've got another jump ring here in my lobster clasp. I'm gonna open this up, put my chain on here, my lobster clasp. Close my jump ring back up really well. Now I've got an 8mm jump ring that I'm going to put on this other side. With my little piece of extender chain. It's probably about 1 inch long, I think is what this is. Close it back up really well. And now I'm going to make my little dangle. And I'm just going to do a simple loop. I usually do a wrap loop, but I'm going to do a simple loop. I need to practice my simple loops because I'm not very good at them. I'm going to go a little bit above the bead so I don't crack my bead. Bend over at a 90-degree angle. And this head pin is really stiff. I didn't realize it was that stiff. I'm going to take my cutters, cut off and leave about 1/4 of an inch of the pin there. Take my round nose pliers, go to the end of the wire, roll back a loop, try to get it good and centered and closed really well. Okay. Now I'm going to open my loop. And put it on the end of my extender chain. And close my loop back again. Okay, so that's what I've got. So hold on, let me see if I can get it all together and get everything put up and get it laid out pretty here, and I'll be back. Okay, there's my necklace all done, made with some of the beads from the Cozy Chrysanthemum bargain bead box and a bezeled teardrop pendant. I hope this is helpful for the lady that wanted me to do the video, and for anybody else who might want to try bezeling a pendant. It's really not hard. It's just getting the count right when you start out. Like I said, if you have a stone that's a commonly sized stone that is normally used to be bezeled, you can find a bezel guide that will tell you exactly how many delicates to start out with. If not, you just kind of have to play around with it and figure it out. I really enjoy bezeling things. Like I said, if you're not a subscriber to the Bargain Bead Box and you decide you want to be, that coupon code will save you $2 off your first box if you sign up. I hope you all have enjoyed this video. As always, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate those of you who have subscribed to my channel and watched my videos and liked and commented on my videos. I have a website where I sell my jewelry. I also sell gift cards and some extra beads and findings that I have. It's Teresa's Handmade Jewelry, and I'll put a link to it in the description box below in case you're interested, along with a link to my Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and my email. If you haven't, I'd really love it if you'd subscribe and hit the notification bell so you're notified when I upload a new video. So until next time, I hope y'all have a great day. Take care.